What is up, guys? Another RP video here. So I put in a lot of thought on this because, I have been saying that we do everything in this world for women, which is true. It is, and a lot of people track it back and say, well, we do everything for sex. So the women, they're trying to always look good. They're trying to give themselves a more youthful and fertile appearance, the appearance of fertility, the appearance of youth. And we see this in, they want their hip to waist ratio to be good. They want to have a more youthful look in their face and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like money and athletics and stuff like that, why do girls play female sports? Why do they get strong in the gym? Maybe more than what they would have 20 or 30 years ago. And why do they want to make all this money and stuff? When we say the feminist agenda and that this has been pushed on women and they're out in the workforce and they're trying to become the man that they wanted to be with, but that's not entirely true. I've thought a lot about this, and these women want to be strong and athletic because they want to be with a strong and athletic man. So typically an athlete will get with an athlete. This is very, very common, and you would expect this. You would expect an athletic, in shape, good-looking football player, track and field athlete, baseball player to get with a hot, athletic, strong volleyball player or track and field athlete or softball player. This would be expected because they want to increase their stock in the dating market, and they know that that man wants an athletic kid, because when you've done athletics your entire life and that's what you know, that's what you're going to be able to pass on to your children. And so naturally these women want a strong, athletic, fertile man, and they want to position themselves the best they can to attract that kind of man. And same thing. I use the athletics kind of component basically as a representation, but we can see this as well. Like a lot of times, doctors will get with doctors, or let's say entertainers will get with entertainers. If that's what they know and that's the business that they're in, it seems like a natural lead-in that they would be able to perpetuate their kids into that career, and it would be a generational thing, and you'd keep going. If you see like a lot of doctors, maybe that are of Indian descent, a lot of times they want their kids to be a doctor, and so on and so forth. You have the athletes doing the same thing. So that being said, it just gives you a little bit of insight. It's not all necessarily feminism. It's more that these chicks are trying to level up, and then they expect a man to be better than them. People are getting taller. People are getting stronger. People are figuring out ways to jump higher. It's pretty amazing, obviously outside of some of these designer drugs and stuff that people are taking and everything. Like the rise of the steroids and performance enhancing drugs is actually pretty alarming in the last 10-20 years. This, like, I would say definitely the last 10 years, because a lot of guys on YouTube, they're not really even hiding it anymore. They're just kind of out and out saying, well, this is the cycle that I'm taking, all these things are what I'm taking, and they're just kind of being upfront with it. Whereas 15-20 years ago, you had people kind of keeping that under wraps if they were doing that. So you're having a rise of that, and as someone who isn't doing that, isn't taking performance enhancing drugs, you have to compete with these guys who are taking performance enhancing drugs. You have to compete, all the women have to compete with all the women who are getting BBLs and are getting tummy tucks and who are doing all kinds of liposuction and facelifts, and they're pumping their lips full of whatever. So you're always in competition with these people that are willing to do something you're maybe not, and that's the main reason. These women are obviously trying to look prettier, younger, more fertile, even if they deny the fact that that youthful appearance is something that is attractive. I recently had a woman she mentioned Jeff Goldblum, and he's 70 and she's attracted to him and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is with Jeff Goldblum is he's 70, but he looks like he would be like a decent looking 50-year-old from the pictures that are presented. And so that 50-year-old might be in her frame as someone who would be acceptable from a sexual attraction standpoint. I put J-Lo in the same category You know, she's over 50, but she kind of looks like a 30-year-old from the pictures and the videos that have been presented of her. And so she's within the frame that would be acceptable to me from like a sexual attraction standpoint. So that being said, she just kind of falls within that frame. Now that being said, obviously, you know, if you can stay in shape and you can look decent and stuff like that, further and further and further along, you're going to extend your kind of like your kind of primary kind of window of when you can attract different people. But at the end of the day, age is catching everyone, and as I get into different light and stuff, and I didn't get much sleep last night, I even noticed it on myself. But again, I'm not using filters, I'm not using makeup, all this other stuff. That being said, there's a lot of things that guys can do, and I've honestly even identified about 10 different things that I could do to looks max. Even right now, some of it would take money, you know, some of it would take quite a bit of money. You know, it'd be like surgical stuff, you know, kind of thing. But again, it's just when you can keep a more natural appearance, a lot of times that is better. But hopefully that gives you guys some insight on this whole thing and this push for women to be better and better and better, and, you know, own these properties or be high in the workplace and all that kind of stuff. Is they're leveling up, men are leveling up, everybody's leveling up, and they're expecting higher and higher and higher. Now a lot of these women's expectations are way out of whack, even that being said, which they won't find out until it's too late. So it's a very hard thing to come to terms with. And I think that even men in their 30s, for instance, and men in their 40s, that you end up getting in a point where it's like, what is kind of like realistic, and you're gaining ground in your 30s, but you're losing ground as well with your youthful appearance, both men and women. So that being said, it's one of those things to be cognizant of, and obviously the whole situation is changing very quickly. So anyway, guys, like this video, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we will be back with more content. See you guys.